On the channel, a very exciting interview. I am joined by Leslie Hoffman. I've noticed online that the fans of Star Trek, because you've had a long history with Star Trek, with Voyager, Deep Space Nine, fan films, the fans of Star Trek really seem to appreciate you. Tell me a little bit about your relationship with Star Trek.
Well, I got to go all the way back to I was a Trekkie. I mean,
Right.
when before I even graduated high school, I went to the second convention that was held in New York City, Star Trek convention,
Wow.
by myself. Got on a bus. It was 300 miles from Saranac Lake, where I'm from, down to New York City, and I went to this convention. Actually, I think this was really the start of conventions. I think Star
Yeah.
Trek started, uh, like I say, fan conventions, and it just caught on for all genres. I entered a test at the convention and came in third, and which I'm pretty proud of. I mean,
Yeah, there's a
this
lot of
little
knowledgeable
girl,
fans.
population 5,000. That's the town I'm from.
Right.
And yet I had Star Trek so memorized, all the episodes, that I was able to come in third against all these other
Wow.
people that
And
could.
they're dedicated fans as well.
So, and I even have a picture of myself, in 1972 with George Takei.
Wow.
Anyways, okay, so then I go to California. I become a stunt woman, and they start the series. Well, I was still in New York. I had gotten married, and I was in New York during The Next Generation, so I wasn't in that series. But I came. The marriage didn't work out, and I came back to California to start my career up again. And I'm very good friends with Dennis Matalone, who's the stunt coordinator of Star Trek, and Tom Morga, who also shares horror and Star Trek uh,
Yes.
history. And Dennis just started hiring me for Deep Space Nine.
Right.
Uh, and he trusted me so much that I was the only as female assistant stunt coordinator. There were other assistant stunt coordinators, like Tom was one of the assistants,
Hmm.
because Dennis coordinated, Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, Voyager. He didn't do Enterprise, but so these these series overlapped each other. And there were times that there were stunts on Deep Space Nine and on Voyager, and there was a production meeting. And then there were these things called second unit where they had to film. They looked at the episode and said, oh, well, we're missing a close up here, or we need to add this here.
Hmm.
So there's all sorts of things that needed to be filmed possibly in the same day, and Dennis couldn't be in all places at the same time. So either I'd be at a production meeting or I would be on the set. I also broke down scripts for him. Uh, so I could go, either he or whoever would go to a production meeting for the episode. But okay, well, I kind of jumped ahead of myself. So the first time that Dennis hired me on Star Trek, I'm walking on the Paramount lot. Now I've done movies at Paramount Studios before.
Hmm.
But to walk on Paramount Studios knowing that you were going to be on Star Trek
Wow.
after being a Trekkie
Yes.
in the 70s or the 60s, 70s. Well, I said 70s because of the convention, but Star
Yes.
Trek was
Yes.
the 60s, late 60s.
That's right.
But to walk on the studio lot, walking to Star Trek and saying, I'm going to be a part of Star Trek. I mean, it's an unbelievable dream come true to be part of Star Trek. And
Must have been
like I say, Deep Space Nine and then Voyager, and I doubled B'Elanna Torres in I'll say her most vicious fights in Blood Fever, Day of Honor, Extreme Risk. It was very interesting, even for that time period. I mean, we're talking about the end of the 1900s. Producers or networks, I'm not sure who it would be, was human women could not fight a man. That was
Right.
the rule.
Oh.
If you watch the episodes, you will not see a human woman punch somebody or somebody punch a human woman.
Oh.
Now, being an alien, being Dax or Kira,
Yes.
they weren't human. They were humanoids. But they were aliens.
Right.
So that was okay. And being half Klingon, it was okay for me to fight like a man. So that's why the fights that you see in Blood Fever and Day of Honor are much more than you see in any of the other fights.
That's almost like a directive that was in place a long time then.
Women could not fight. In fact, if you even watch the old Batman series, Batgirl did not throw a punch. She kicked.
Right. Yeah.
And I
Interesting.
don't think people realize that.
No. No, until you said it, I had never thought about that, but now you've said it, yeah, that makes perfect sense that was happening.
Favorite scenes, like I say, it was so wonderful doubling B'Elanna Torres because the fights I was doing were fights that women didn't do back then.
Yeah.
Well, like you say in the episode Day of Honor,
Mhm.
there's the fight between Tom Morga as a Klingon and myself. And I mean, we're punching each other. He's flipping me to the floor. I mean, it just I'm very proud to be I'll say one of the first stunt women that could fight like a man.